All right, everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive today.
Oh, yeah. Always ready to geek out about the body.
Today, we're taking a closer look at how our bodies handle that sweet sugar.
Blood sugar control, right?
Right, that's the one. Specifically, we're going to break down this really cool YouTube video from Metabolism Made Easy. They break it down so well.
Yeah, their videos are great. Really accessible, even if you're not a biochem whiz.
Totally. So they did this whole thing on the hormones that work tirelessly behind the scenes to regulate blood sugar.
Keeping us going all day long.
Exactly. And you know, it's more complex than I even realized.
Yeah.
So they point out these 4 key players that are like the blood sugar all-star team. Insulin, of course.
The big name everyone's heard of.
Yeah, and then glucagon, epinephrine, and cortisol. Kind of rolls right off the tongue.
Catchy, right? But for real, these hormones are like the conductors of our energy orchestra.
Perfect analogy. So let's start with the MVP, insulin. I mean, we know it plays a role in diabetes, but what's its main gig?
So basically, after you eat, let's say, a big old plate of pasta.
Ooh, carbs.
Exactly. Your blood sugar spikes, right?
Actually.
And that's where insulin swoops in. Think of it like a key unlocking your muscle and fat cells so glucose can get inside.
To be used for energy.
Boom! Exactly. And this is crucial because it prevents glucose from just hanging out in your blood and causing all sorts of trouble.
Oh, right, like long-term damage if it stays too high for too long.
Exactly. So insulin's job is to clear out the excess glucose and get it where it needs to go.
Now, you mentioned muscles and fat, but does insulin affect all cells the same way? What about my brain? Big glucose hog up there.
Great question. So actually, the brain is a bit of an exception. It needs a constant supply of glucose, so it can actually access glucose directly without needing insulin's permission slip.
Ah, so the brain has VIP access.
Huh, you could say that. Insulin mainly focuses on skeletal muscle, which is what we use to move around, and adipose tissue, aka body fat.
So those are the big storage units for energy. Makes sense that insulin targets them.
Right. And insulin not only helps glucose enter those cells, but it also encourages them to store it for later. We're talking about glycogen.
Ah, the energy reserves.
Yeah.
Tucking it away for a rainy day.
Exactly. Insulin's like the ultimate prepper stocking up the pantry.
Okay, so we've got insulin working hard after we eat. But what about when we're fasting? Like overnight, or if we skip a meal?
Well, you won't be surprised to know the body's got that covered too. When blood sugar starts to dip, it's like a signal flare goes up, and out come glucagon, epinephrine, and cortisol.
The backup crew.
Exactly. They basically tell the liver, hey, break down some of that glycogen we stored earlier. We need sugar stat.
And the liver's like, you got it, boss.
Pretty much. So the liver releases glucose back into the bloodstream, bringing those sugar levels back up.
Okay, so if insulin's the chef stocking the pantry, these guys are like the late-night snack delivery.
Perfect analogy. And here's the really cool part. If the glycogen stores are running low, the liver can actually create new glucose from scratch. It's called gluconeogenesis.
Whoa, wait, hold on. New glucose from scratch. What's it made of? Thin air.
Not quite. It uses other molecules in the body, like amino acids from protein, to make glucose. It's pretty amazing how adaptable the body is.
Seriously, that's some next-level stuff.
Yeah.
So we've got these hormones all working together, but they seem to have opposite jobs. Doesn't that lead to chaos?
It could, but luckily it doesn't. It's all about balance and feedback. When blood sugar rises, insulin steps in. When it falls, glucagon, epinephrine, and cortisol take over.
Like a constant tug-of-war to keep things steady.
Exactly. It's a pretty elegant system when you think about it. Keeps our cells humming along with a consistent energy supply.
But I gotta ask, what happens when the system gets thrown out of whack? The video didn't really get into that.
And when you mentioned diabetes earlier, a major player in type 2 diabetes is insulin resistance. Basically, the cells become less responsive to insulin, so glucose has trouble getting inside.
So like insulin's knocking, but no one's answering.
Yeah, kind of like that. And that leads to chronically high blood sugar, which, as we know, isn't good news.
Right, can lead to all sorts of complications long-term.
Exactly. And the video also mentioned epinephrine. Now, that's more than just a blood sugar regulator. It's also known as adrenaline, part of our fight or flight response.
Oh, yeah. So when we're stressed out, epinephrine kicks in.
And causes a quick surge in blood sugar. It's like giving you an energy boost to deal with whatever's stressing you out.
So like a built-in energy drink for emergencies? I guess that explains why stress can affect our blood sugar levels so much.
Totally. It all ties together. What we eat, how we manage stress, our overall health, it all impacts this delicate hormonal dance.
Mind-blowing. Our bodies are seriously impressive.
Absolutely. I think this deep dive really highlights that. It's a reminder that even the simplest things like eating have this whole intricate world happening under the surface.
And understanding how it all works can help us make better choices for our health. So next time you reach for that sugary snack, remember the amazing hormonal symphony playing out inside you. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Always a pleasure. Until next time.